From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, March 29th, 2021. We'll start with the infrared satellite picture here across North America, and the pattern does remain active and progressive. This is the most recent storm system to bring heavy rains and severe weather to portions of the central and southern United States. And making its way through the Prairie right now, we finally got a storm system bringing some accumulating snowfall, some measurable precipitation back to the Prairie provinces. It has brought some snow to portions of Alberta during the overnight. Much of the snow now making its way through central and southern Saskatchewan today, and that'll move into southern Manitoba during the overnight hours tonight. As we look at the visible satellite picture here, just a static image, you can see the cloud cover associated with the storm system. You look down to the northern and central plains, the upper Midwest of the United States. Clear skies there, but beneath that, we've got some very strong southerly winds. It's very mild, very dry, and very windy. So we got a widespread fire weather risk here across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and the central plains of the United States. So the impacts of this storm system being felt far and wide, far reaching beyond the precipitation shield, which as we check out the radar, again, much of that moving into central and southern Saskatchewan midday on Monday. We've still got some snow making its way out of southeastern Alberta. And then this will start making its way into southern portions of Manitoba as we head later into the day today into the overnight. But again, midday Monday, this is what the radar looks like. We've got several areas of heavier snow, one along the southern border of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and then some heavier snow making its way toward the southern border of Saskatchewan and Manitoba midday as well. So total snow going to be a bit unevenly distributed with some of the heavier areas of snow here and then some of the lighter areas in between. As we look at the NAM model, we'll take this through the middle and late part of the week, but especially focusing on the next 24 hours because that's when much of the precipitation will fall this week. This is what we've got here this morning. We'll take this into the mid-afternoon and now into the late afternoon. As the sun goes down, that snow making its way into central and southwestern Manitoba, really along the border between Saskatchewan and Manitoba is where the heaviest snow will be this evening. This is midnight tonight, and then as we wake up tomorrow, the sunrise comes up. Southeastern Saskatchewan, central and southern Manitoba, still probably some snowflakes flying, the snow tapering off by this point, and that'll continue to be the case as we head through the day Tuesday. We'll still likely see some snowflakes, but really the snow should be trending downward for much of the day. Much of the accumulating snow falls over the next 24 hours. As we head through Wednesday, conditions pretty quiet. Don't be surprised by a few flurries if you're in northern Alberta and then central Saskatchewan. As you head through the day on Wednesday, it should not be much in the way of accumulation with this. Just a subtle little disturbance tracking through. Don't be shocked by a few snowflakes. Thursday, looking quiet across the Prairie, will trend toward a quiet end to the work week as well. Total accumulated snowfall from the NAM model. This takes us through Thursday. Much of what you see here falls over the next 24 hours. You see the uneven distribution to that. The snow here falling across the region, and as I put it side by side with the European model, you see the uneven nature reflected there as well. So the NAM, and then here is the ECMWF. Just their raw snowfall output. So on the high side, maybe 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. You make your way down toward the southern border with the United States. Snow is going to be really tapering off as you head down that direction. So a sharp cutoff on the southern edge here as you approach the U.S. border. Most folks ending up around 5 to 10 centimeters. There's going to be some lighter amounts in there, and there will be some higher totals as well. Again, if I had to guess, the heavier snow probably going to set up here where that heavier snow band is right now across the southern border of Saskatchewan and Alberta, and then maybe trailing or following this off to the east as we head through the late evening hours into the overnight. Let's go ahead and take a look at where the pattern's headed then. So here's the disturbance that's making its way in right now. Here's the one that I showed you on the satellite that was making its way off the North Atlantic. So we've got our storm systems doing something like this as we get started this week. We'll take a look at the I'll just hit play and let it play out here. You see another storm try to swing in here toward the end of the week. Really, you see the pattern kind of try to do kind of the same-ish thing over the next 10 days. We're going to see another trough developing here across the west, but this one I don't think is going to deepen quite as much as the trough over the last 2 weeks across the western U.S., which had the flow coming all the way down here to northern Mexico. And that's what kept us dry across the Prairie. We had every storm system just following this track well to the south. What I think is going to happen is we're going to see a storm track here that actually keeps the Canadian Prairie in play over the next couple of weeks. Not going to be soaking the Prairie, but I think we're going to keep the opportunities for precipitation going over the next 14 days. Just verbatim, the latest run of the European operational model. Again, this is what we've got going on right now. Our storm system swinging through the Prairie, bringing the snow that'll come to an end as we head into the day tomorrow. This is noon on Tuesday. We'll take this into Tuesday evening. This is now the overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Again, high pressure on the backside, probably going to be keeping it dry and quiet for us here to end the week. This is now Thursday, getting into Friday. As we get into the weekend, we're going to see another storm system emerge across the region that could bring some accumulating snow to portions of the Prairie. Does not look like it has the oomph that the one that's making its way through right now does. So another chance for some snow as we get into Friday night, Saturday across the region. Total is probably going to be much, much lower than what we're seeing here with this Sunday night into Monday, Tuesday storm across the region now. Maybe dry conditions lasting then through the weekend with another chance for some precipitation making its way in early next week, early to mid next week. So this is kind of what I think we're looking at. It's not a pattern that's going to keep us on our toes, but it is a pattern that's going to offer up some hope for precipitation every 5 days or so, maybe something like that across the Prairie. So at least not being left out to dry like we have been over the last week plus. Here's the next 10 days. So taking it through April 7th, just the raw snow forecast from the European model. And again, opportunities for snow across the Prairie as we head through the next 10 to 14 days. On the left, you got the next 7 days, so days 0 to 7, and then here you got days 7 to 14. So week 1, week 2, precipitation anomaly forecast. If there's anywhere you want to be, it would be across the Prairie provinces in North America if you're looking for precipitation. Let me circle that a little bit better here. And again, I think that's because, well, we've got a storm system making its way through right now. That's what's bringing all the precip to the region week 1 here with that maybe chance for some lighter precipitation as we get into Friday and Saturday. But then week 2, I talked about this trough not digging so far south, maybe doing something more like this. And that certainly would allow the Prairie to be in on the fun as storm systems continue to make their way into week 2. This is kind of a reflection of that. We're looking at days 1 through 5, the upper level jet stream pattern, days 6 through 10. Again, the pattern right now, strong northwest flow coming across the region. We'll see storm systems making their way in. We're seeing that right now. As we head into days 6 through 10, the trough begins to develop across western Canada into the Pacific. But again, with it not doing something like this, the real dramatic dive down toward Mexico, I think that's going to keep the Prairie in play for storm systems next week. And then as we take it even further, days 10 to 15, same thing. The trough is there, but it doesn't dig all the way down to Mexico. I think it's going to keep the Prairie, parts of the northern plains in play for at least periodic opportunities for precipitation over the next 2 weeks. Your temperatures, well, they're going to be mild, especially as you head off toward the east as we deal with some ridging here at times, especially heading into days 5 to 10. Really going to be warming up across the northern plains of the U.S. I think that southern Manitoba, central and southern portions of Saskatchewan, I think you're going to feel that quite a bit as well. As you head in toward northern Alberta, maybe a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to some of these shots of cold air. But as we take a look at the 10-day high and low temperature forecasts, really not much to complain about as we transition from March into early April. Calgary, you're going to warm up heading into the middle and later part of the week, cooling down just slightly as we head into the weekend and next week. Medicine Hat, a very similar look. Here's what you got in Saskatoon. Again, a sharp warm-up as we head into the weekend and next week. Similar in Regina, and then check it out here, Winnipeg. -6 for the high tomorrow, 0 on Wednesday, all the way up to 18 on Friday. So a rapid warm-up, especially as you head off toward the east across the Prairie, heading into the weekend and beyond into next week. I hope you have a wonderful Monday, a great start to your week. And again, it looks like we got opportunities for precipitation over the next 2 weeks. We'll just have to watch each storm day by day here. And then many of you looking at a big warm-up heading into the end of the week, continuing on into next week.